Right then, lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. We are back again, 5 p.m. settings, Christmas settings, and all that. So we're back again. I mean, it's been 48 hours without me coming live, and I missed you guys, and I hope you've been actually well. A special greeting to all my lads in the Pearl of Africa. Special greetings to you. Obviously, you know what's happening in that country is insecurity settings there. So hope you guys are well. Make sure you are very, very safe. I have a lot of things lined up in this show. One thing we're gonna do is we're gonna try to react to all the stories that I've not reacted to while I was away. But basically, the lineup is Alexander Lacazette. Could he be on the way to sign a new Arsenal contract? Despite the fact that Arsenal have not yet agreed to give him a long-term contract. Now, of course, like I said in the morning, it's more of there's a big debate between the club and the player. The player wants a long-term contract. If it's gonna stay or go anywhere. Of course, Arsenal do not want to give him a long-term contract. They're like, if you're gonna stay, it's our rules, it's our house. You play by the rules. So probably, what's gonna happen there? Isco. The story is growing now. Reports actually indicating that we actually, did bid for him in the summer. I don't believe that. If we wanted him in the summer, he should have been one of the easiest players to get, from Real Madrid. But obviously. I'll try to explain that. 3 clubs have come in for Nicola Pepe, and all of them are in the Premier League. It's time to sell Pepe while we still can. Also, Nicola Pepe, 3 clubs. Which clubs are they? I'm gonna be trying to tell you that. We speak about a player called Karim Adeyemi. One player that has really attracted my attention in the last 72 hours. He's called he's actually a wonder kid. He's called Karim Adeyemi, wanted by Barcelona, wanted by Liverpool, wanted by Dortmund. So probably Arsenal should be focusing their eyes there because that is the project we are running at the moment. Raheem Sterling rumors are still continuing, and of course, Mikel Arteta could be one of the luckiest managers Arsenal has ever had, because despite the fact that he was backed in the summer, Arsenal's transfer plan is to take advantage of a distressed transfer market. So it looks like Mikel Arteta is still going to be backed even after the summer. So let's wait and see what happens after that. And obviously, William Saliba, Arsenal's decision and stance on William Saliba is that he's not for sale. Despite the fact that Marseille would want to keep him, and of course, with all due respect, we understand, we understand where Marseille are coming from in that direction. But he is known for sale, for Christ's sake. So all that and more is going to be discussed in this video. Make sure you smash a like on the video. Make sure we're on 7 likes. Make sure you smash a like on the video. Make sure you do subscribe. If you love the company, the entertainment, because that's what football is all about: entertainment, company. And enjoyment and jeopardy and stress and everything like that. So if you like the stress, if you like the entertainment, be sure to subscribe because we are always here on every single day, 5 p.m., 9 p.m., unless we do have multiple shows like on Saturday, where we'll be diving into the likes of Arsenal, Liverpool. So probably we might not have the shows in order, but of course we'll be back on Monday with a straight lineup of the shows. Right. So let's start off with Let's start off with Alexander Lacazette, right? Let's start off with Alexander Lacazette. Now, like I said in the morning, The Athletic, one of the best, actually, one of the most decorated news outlets there, decorated with credibility. That's what I mean. I was listening to Mark today in the morning, and he was saying that The Athletic is one of those outlets that get their news, their sources inside the club, and that's why maybe you've got to believe them. The likes of Gold, the likes of Fabrizio Romano, because look, I really do agree with people who say journalists ABC or news outlets, outlets ABC, D are credible. And they are very good, but of course, credible, good really doesn't mean that you're not, that you're dispensable from your sources. It's all about journalism is all about sources. It's all about who you talk to, and what kind of information they give you, and how credible the information is. And that's why journalism is one of the very, very hard, very hard professions to do, because again, if you get a source that's credible, and then on that occasion they give you a wrong story, then you become a bad journalist. I mean, that is how hard it is. But anyway, the Athletic have actually put out a story, a very, very nice read, and they are claiming that Arsenal and Mikel Arteta are very, very happy with the role and job Lacazette is doing on the pitch ever since he came on this season. Remember, he didn't start the earlier part of the season. First with COVID, of course we know that, and then after that he just dropped out of pecking order. Martin Odegaard starting ahead of him, Aubameyang the striker, and obviously Pepe OESR on the left, and on the right has always been Saka. So the idea and the story is from the Athletic that Arsenal are considering giving, actually not considering, they want to give Alexander Lacazette a new contract, but there is two ends are pulling the same rope in different directions. So what is happening at the moment is Lacazette would love to stay at Arsenal, and he would love to sign a new contract. He doesn't have a problem with that. Of course, he's one of the highest earners, at Arsenal. That much we know, around 180,000 per week paycheck is taken on. That is huge, right? That is, of course, even if he gets 2 million, even if he gets 5 million, as long as he can deliver, I would never care about that, right? You only care about how much a player is earning when they actually do not deliver. At the moment, I feel like 180,000 throughout the 5 years has been at Arsenal. Just feel like it's too much. But of course, we had to pay that much, to bring him out the Emirates, and of course to beat off the likes of Atletico Madrid, because so many clubs wanted him by then. He was a top striker, so you were never gonna give him low, a low salary. It was never gonna happen. So what is happening now is Arsenal are happy. Mikel is saying that, according to Athletic, Mikel is happy with the way he's doing on the pitch, and also happy with the way Alexander Lacazette is performing in training. And he says that his influence and behavior and general conduct in the dressing room is actually more of uplifting, spirit uplifting, rather than the opposite, which would be distressing and why I mean pulling down spirits and things like that in the dressing room. So his conduct is more of spirit uplifting, is more of beneficial in the dressing room, rather than dangerous, right? So Arsenal want to give him a new contract. They have decided they want to give him a new contract, according to Athletic, and the player would love to stay. Where the problem is, though, before we dive into any of this stuff, make sure you're getting involved in the comment section. Should we give Lacazette a new long-term contract? Because that is where it is. Because according to Athletic, they're saying yes, there is no problem. Right, there is no problem until that age of both parties wanting to to have a consensus around the idea of extending a contract. The problem, and where we are failing to have consensus, is Arsenal are looking at it in this way. We have had Aubameyang sign a new contract, and it's been absolutely. I'm not going to say that word, I'm going to say a little bit disappointing, okay? And then the same thing happened with Mesut Ozil. So Arsenal are really, really scared of giving Alexander Lacazette a new long-term contract. If you look at the last players that we've given a long-term contract at Arsenal, 30 and above years, Willian. Really, I don't know. Abysmal is not a word to describe his performances. Yes, of course, he came out and said, "I was never here for the money. I was here for the Champions League." But his performances were absolutely disgusting. During his stay at Arsenal, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has dropped drastically. I think the word to use there is exponentially has dropped so much in terms of quality. ever since he signed his new contract. We cannot forget Mesut Ozil as well. I mean, he was not that good, but at least he was trying. When he signed a new contract at Arsenal, he died off. Absolutely, it died off like he was like he had never played good football in his life. So Arsenal are trying not to repeat the same mistake that we did with Aubameyang, the same mistake that we did with Ozil and with Willian. And I'm 100%. I'm 100% agreeing on with Arsenal. 100%. Look, guys, in the comment box, I'm going to take the first 10 comments about this. Who do you think is right? Lacazette, who's wanting a long-term contract, who thinks he should get 3 more years because he's 30 at the moment. If you give him 3 more years, I think then his contract expires at 33, right? At 33, of course, we've seen the likes of Robert Lewandowski. I mean, they played football until that age. The likes of Mario Mandzukic, Ronaldo is also playing at a high level, competing at a high level at that age. Zlatan Ibrahimovic is also doing the same. Messi is still doing the same. So, look, 33 these days, as long as the player takes good care of himself, it's no worries. Look at the likes of Cellini. Look at the likes of Bonucci. Look at the likes of Dani Alves resigning for Barcelona. He's 38. Come on, he's 38. Look at Sergio Ramos. I think Sergio Ramos is what? 32, 33, around 33, 34. Again, age might not be a big issue, but there is a big scare for Arsenal though. That players that we have signed above the age of 28 have actually not worked out. Players that have signed a new contract or actually have come in in the club. Look at Lichtsteiner, look at Sylvester, look at Willian, look at Aubameyang. They have not really worked out. And look, we are right to be scared. I mean, anyone who loves Lacazette is going to say, Cossy, no, let's give him a new contract. Let's do this and that. And I might agree with you to some extent. I might just agree with you to some extent that maybe Arsenal just need to extend his contract and forget whatever happened and things like that. But we've got to be skeptical. We've got to be very, very skeptical. One thing I said in the morning that I will actually re-emphasize in this video is the structure of the contract matters, right? Because you might want to give a player 3 years, but the structure of the contract matters. Xhaka received a pay rise in the summer. I didn't get that. I really didn't understand that. If Mikel wanted him to stay, I think it was a blessing to Granit Xhaka, rather than a blessing to Arsenal. And I don't get how Xhaka got a pay rise. Like, I don't understand that. So the structure of this contract between Arsenal and Lacazette, one, there should be no pay rise. On that contract, despite the fact that it's gonna be a free agent. He has the liberty to go free, no pay rise if we give him that contract. And two, the contract should be structured in a way we give him 1 year, 1 year, and then promise. I don't know how I could call it, because a promise is a weak word, but oblige ourselves that we will give him another year and probably a 3rd year because he wants 3 years. So we will give him another year if he does well, right? Because look, I've looked at a couple of senior players performing at Arsenal right now, and Lacazette is really proving to be a difference. Now, this is me not going weak against my decisions. I would prefer to get in someone new. Just imagine if Lacazette goes and we brought in Erling Haaland. I'll take him. But we have a very, very young squad, and we need the senior players to balance the board. We need the senior players to balance the thing. So what I would do with Alexander Lacazette, because he's a senior player, I think him and Partey are the 2 senior players that I'm looking at, and I'm like, apart from the dressing room things, like I think Aubameyang is charismatic. He was speaking about himself, and he said that he's a great captain, probably one of the best captains in Europe, if not the best. And he said that he's actually interested in leading by example. Now, I've got no problems with that. I have no issues with a captain really performing and leading by example. But so, look, apart from the dressing room, for me on the pitch, the senior players that are doing it is Thomas Partey and Alexander Lacazette. I think you can see how they're pulling the strings on the other end, as inexperienced and being naive and being novice is actually pulling on the other side of the squad, who are very, very young. So maybe he deserves a year, maybe he deserves an extra year, but he doesn't want another year. That's the problem. He doesn't want another year. He wants 3 more years on his contract. He's 30. Do we repeat? Do we take a risk and repeat the same? I don't want to say it was a mistake, but repeat the same thing we did with the Aubameyang and Ozil. It's risky. I mean, if you're an Arsenal fan and you love Lacazette, you're gonna say, Cossy, do it, get him that new contract. But if he flops, again, it's like we learned nothing, and then we forgot nothing, just like the Bourbon. So I feel like Lacazette, Arsenal should think about it strongly. One, we should only let him stay if we are not going to replace him and Aubameyang at the same time, right? If we are going to bring in a striker in the summer, right? You could give Lacazette 1 year in the summer as your new striker gets over the cultural shock in a new club, in a new country, and things like that, and gets to adapt to how things are done at Arsenal. For example, if we signed in, I just want to use a name that is so easy. If we signed in Ivan Toney, he comes at Arsenal. Of course, we know he's coming from a club like Brentford, so there is a lot of cultural shock and transition time that is needed between adapting from Brentford to the culture of Arsenal and the demands and things like that, and the new audience and everything like that. So if you brought in a player like Ivan Toney, you could keep Lacazette for just 1 year. When Ivan Toney gets into his second season, Lacazette got to go. Because look, in the end, this is us being babies who are crying for a bottle that after emptying the milk. It's like you have a milk bottle, you have emptied it, but then you still you still take hold of it. You don't want to let it go. At some point in time, you will let it go because you're gonna go hungry and look, when you go hungry, it's empty. It doesn't serve you any purpose. You've got to let it go. So again, look, I'm not really saying that Aubameyang is an empty tin or empty milk bottle, but I feel like it's more like the same situation. We might want to keep him. It's something that we are doing with Xhaka. That's why I said when I started this video that I didn't understand our decision to keep Xhaka and give him a new long-term contract. I didn't understand it really, unless I'm wrong. But I really didn't understand that decision. I didn't get it. So look, guys, Lacazette staying or leaving for me is the same. If he leaves at the moment, it puts us in a better position. Be more careful. Look, get in someone new. Right, get him a long-term prospect. Get in someone younger. Get in someone that, because there's so many people that can actually play like Alexander Lacazette. There's so many people. There's so many players out there that can give you what Lacazette gives you. So look, if he goes, I'm okay. If he stays for 1 year, probably with the promise that if he does well, he gets another year, maybe I'm also okay with that. Because the big question there with Lacazette is, what is the yardstick? Because like this season, he's starting as a support striker. He's starting as the number 10. So what is the yardstick for Lacazette? Right? Is it double figures in both assists and goals? Because where he's standing, he's starting ahead of Martin Odegaard, right? And of course, we know Odegaard, despite the fact that he doesn't score, the role he has to do at Arsenal is score and create. That is the role of that position, and that's why over the years, the players that have been playing there, the likes of Cesc Fabregas, have been goal scorers. The likes of Dennis Bergkamp have been goal scorers. If you're playing in that position, right? You've got to be a goal scorer. You've got to score goals, but most importantly, you've got to create chances. It's not all about supporting Aubameyang. It's not all about hold up play. Because for me, I still feel like he does well with the squad, but it's more like we are playing him to support Aubameyang. It's not like we are playing him to support the whole team. We are playing him to support Aubameyang. We're playing because look how Aubameyang is the highest honor at the club, and he plays well with Lacazette. So let's play Lacazette and things like that, right? So because for me, if you put away Lacazette, Aubameyang is gonna struggle. Honestly, if we put away Lacazette, Aubameyang struggles, right? But we can't, like I said, we can't keep, we can't keep holding an empty milk bottle, forever. We're gonna go hungry, and I don't want us to go to a situation in which our midfield has been in the past 2 seasons, because we reached a point where our midfield was absolutely empty. Just imagine no Lokonga, no Partey. We were there. Yeah, we were there. No Lokonga, no Partey. There was Xhaka, who was absolutely shambolic, during that time. And then you had Mohamed Elneny, who we all know is a very, very good guy, personally, probably, but he's not a good footballer, good enough at least to play for Arsenal. So, what we have to do is take action earlier. Right? We don't need to let these guys turn into deadwood, the likes of Lacazette and Aubameyang. We don't need to let them turn into deadwood. We need to stop this tendency of letting players first turn into deadwood, and then we start, struggling, fidgeting to ship them out. So Lacazette contract is expiring. If he doesn't want a short-term contract, it's okay. Let him go. Probably we will not find someone like him, but we could find better, right? We could find better. He's not the first player, to be at Arsenal as a forward, and definitely he's not the last. That is not really me being mean with Lacazette. So Aubameyang is also going to leave after next season. He's going to leave as well, and I think it just gives us a chance. Lacazette leaves this summer. We bring in someone, to fit in. And then in the next summer, Aubameyang leaves because his contract will have expired as well. And then we bring in someone to replace Aubameyang. It just makes sense, right? It just makes sense. I don't know what you think, guys, but thanks everybody for watching. Hit the like button. Thanks everybody. Let's get it to at least 30 likes right about now. So I'd love to see what you people are saying about Lacazette. Dragon, you're asking me about Aziz. He says, why is Aziz not in the first team? It's the same thing I said with Balogun. These young players are actually, of course, they're young, so I'm not going to say overrated, but you lot want to put a lot of pressure on these young lads when they're playing well for the under-23s. It's something for me. It's the same thing with Charlie Patino. It's something with Aziz. It's something with Balogun. They are good, right? But look at our midfield at the moment and tell me Aziz comes in and fixes everything. Right, or he displaces Thomas Partey. Look, he doesn't. It's something with Patino. Yes, I've had a lot around Charlie Patino, but the truth is these players are still in they're just in that process. They're on the train coming to the first team, and just because the train is made of glass and you can see through, that's why you can see those pigments of brightness, and they're like, oh, they should be starting. Why are we losing games when Aziz is actually doing 3 assists? Patino is making 5 assists per 90 in the under 23s. Come on, it's under 23s. I don't think Patino is going to play well against Pogba. I don't think he's going to play well against Keita or N'Golo Kante, right? So they need the time to develop, right? They need the time to develop. Rosa, you said we don't need a 3-year, next 3 years when a 5-year, during his 5 years, he did nothing. Stella says, hi, Cossy, good evening. We still need Laka. I love him. let him stay if possible. Less risk. We did that long time ago by getting William. John says, yes, Cossy, Lacazette should get a new contract. Thank you so much, John. And then Russell says, Cossy, nothing is wrong. Nothing is wrong, but he needs to deliver on its. That's the problem. Wilfred says, "How are you? I'm good, Wilfred. How are you?" And then Anu says, "Let's give him 2 more years." Right? I can hear you guys. I can hear you. I'm happy to hear Laka could be staying. That's according to Anu. And then Holding says, right. I mean, there's so many comments, and I will try to get through them. But Chinedu says, give Laka 1 or 2 years more. Right. So look, I've got your opinions. And I don't think any of you is wrong, because opinions are never wrong. And of course, we've got to celebrate them and respect them and things like that. So it's opinion. But look, for me, Lacazette staying could be a good thing, and it could be a bad thing as well, right? It could be a good thing, and it could be a bad thing as well. Why I think it could be a good thing is just for issues of continuity. We build a squad with the likes of Lacazette around, and they help these young ones. That's the good thing. The bad thing is he's a shadow, right? He's obstructing. He's actually is more of an obstruction to a new player in that place. We all know that we need new blood, new legs in that place. But you're never gonna get new legs, new blood with Lacazette still playing in that area, honestly. And that's why I think he might be it might be a good thing to keep him, but it also might be a distraction. And I don't want I don't want him to be an obstruction. He would rather leave. I mean, there's so many clubs that are interested. After all, we still have more time to fulfill our project, right? At least 2 more seasons. So for me, Lacazette 1 year or he leaves. That is my opinion. Henry says Laka to stay, but not more than 1 year. Up the Gunners. Thank you so much, Henry. And then Yusuf says, please, it's Palagan time. Let's give him a chance. Still want Laka for 1 year. That is according to Yusuf. Guys, let's move on. Thanks everybody. Let's move on. Lacazette, and the fiasco can never end. Honestly, let's talk about William Saliba, right? Just for a minute. Let's talk about William Saliba just for a minute. So, of course, I told you that Saliba, Marseille are much interested, and they're willing to do whatever they can to convince Arsenal to play on a permanent. To let the player go on a permanent basis. That is it. They're more than willing to do anything they can in their power to push Arsenal to sell William Saliba, on a permanent in the summer. But according to the latest reports, Arsenal are not willing to let go of William Saliba. The decision around Arsenal and the feeling around the club is that Saliba has a future, and Arteta and the club in general have told William Saliba that you do have a chance, you do stand a chance with Arsenal Football Club. You're actually not going anywhere. And that is, look, guys, that is something good. Honestly, that is something very, very good. I'm proud of Arsenal with that decision, right? So, I mean, it's still a general feeling. It's still a general feeling around the club. I'm gonna tell you something. For me, I don't even see why we should hold talks with Marseille. I mean, I could be a little bit too jumpy, but I don't see why we should hold talks with Marseille, with Olympique Marseille. He's our player. He's got 2 more years. I think 1.5 years on his contract, and we still have much power and influence over him. We can make him sign a new long-term deal. I don't see why we should hold talks. Of course, the reports that we will hold talks of over a permanent deal with Marseille have not been crushed, right? They have not been crushed, but honestly, I don't see why. I don't see why. If we are saying, like Mikel is claiming, and reports are saying that around the club, the general feeling is that they want him to stay. They want him to do well. It's part of Mikel Arteta's plans and everything like that. we shouldn't even hold talks with Olympic Marseille, right? Just tell them go to hell. As simple as that. Look, I'm one of those people who believe Saliba is gonna be a great player, right? There are not so many players that I believed in at a young age. There are not so many players I believed in. Some I have believed in them. Others have actually not believed in them. But honestly, Saliba, I believe. Look, forget all this thing of Mbappe of the Mbappe of centre backs and things like that. He's a young player, and I take him as a very, very good young player. As simple as that, right? These all extra, how should I call them? Extra decorations, Mbappe of centre backs. Let's leave those for the deluded fans. Let's look at William Saliba as a player who's actually who has had 3-4 successful years as a centre back. Why would we let him go? Why would we even open talks with Marseille over why? All right, they don't deserve it. They don't deserve the player. They've taken Matteo Guendouzi. I think it is a mistake that teaches us, right, that we should give players more chance. Saliba deserves the chance. At Arsenal, I've said that for now 2 years. He deserves the chance. I mean, what has he done? What has he got to do to deserve a chance with Mikel Arteta? And look, I'm not gonna speak about this very much, but what I'm gonna say is, if there is a chance for Saliba to sign a new long-term contract at Arsenal, let's do that and make him a regular in the Europa League. We are going back there. I have a very, very strong feeling about Europa League. Maybe not about Champions League, maybe not anything about that, but I have a very strong feeling about Europa League. We will go back, we'll qualify for Europa League, and let's make him the king of Europa League, of the Europa League squad. Start him every day, every game, from the group stages to the final, right? I think that's the only way. That's the only way. We can keep him. Otherwise, it's gonna be a dilemma. And you remember the dilemma. We talked about the dilemma. Do you keep him? Yes. Do you play him in a back three? It's a little bit disorganizing the squad. Do you drop Ben White? It is destabilizing the partnership he has with Gabriel. So it's very difficult. It's very, very difficult. But for me, it's all about Europa. He's still young. He's still a very, very young player, around 20. So if we can play him consecutively, in 2 back-to-back seasons, in Europe, probably, if we can qualify for Champions League in the coming years, that would be even better. So Saliba, the general feeling around Arsenal is understood that they do not want to sell. They do not want to consider the player for sale. They're not considering selling the player. Marseille, go to hell. I'm really proud of Arsenal on that regard. And of course, the other part to discuss is Nicolas Pepe. 3 clubs have come in. Now, look, I've had mixed reactions from you guys around Nicolas Pepe. Many of you telling me, Cossy, why are we even selling Nicolas Pepe? I mean, you asked me the question. I even don't know how to answer that. But I mean, he's for sale. He's for sale. We know that. That much we know. He's for sale. We are 35 likes. Thanks, everybody. Make sure you push that 5 more likes. Get in 5 more likes. Let's get them to 40 right about now. Thank you so much. So look, guys, before we go to Nicolas Pepe, I've seen Yusuf saying, yeah, William Saliba should stay. Saliba is still our player. That's according to Alex. And then Valerie says Saliba will fit better than Holding and Chambers. I agree with you. Frank, of course, both of them are flops. Frank says the only way to keep Saliba is to let Arteta go. That's according to Frank. And then Alex says Arteta is lying. He never liked Saliba from the beginning. If he liked him, he shouldn't have bought Ben White. Saliba is well decorated and a great player for Mikel Arteta. I don't disagree because if you look at the profile of 2 players, of both players, the only advantage that Ben White, what did I say? Ben White has is he's played in the Premier League and he had played a full campaign of almost 30. He had played almost 36 games in the last campaign when we signed him. So I think Arsenal wanted someone. For me, we wanted someone that was going to fit in earlier, easily. right? Because Gabriel was being looked at as a newcomer who's gonna struggle with language, who's gonna struggle with the culture at the club. So what we wanted to do is bring in a player who's already used to the Premier League, probably has had a year in the Premier League, and you still remember me fighting against us dropping William Saliba for Ben White. But I think that was the reason. We wanted someone who's used to the culture in England, in UK, and can and probably can provide that cushion, that emotional cushion and understanding to Gabriel. And I think that's the reason as why Saliba fell behind Ben White. So, but anyway, away from William Saliba, Nicola Pepe, the article from is it the Metro? Yes, the article from the Metro is that 3 clubs want him. Now, this is the article. 3 Premier League clubs are interested in signing Arsenal winger Nicola Pepe, according to reports in France. Pepe joined the Gunners from French club Lille in 2019 for a fee in the region of 72 million. The North London club's most expensive signing in their history. However, the Ivory Coast international has failed to live up to expectations at the Emirates, having only picked up a disappointing 15 goals and 8 assists in 67 Premier League games for the club to date. The former Lille winger has only played a total of 5 games in Arsenal's last 5 minutes, in Arsenal's last 3 top flight games, with informed academy duo Bukayo Saka and Emile Smith-Rowe being picked ahead of him. And as a result of his lack of playing time, Newcastle, Crystal Palace and Everton are looking into the possibility of signing the 26-year-old, according to now this is kind of French, but I think I don't speak French, but it's more like Jeans Fortex or Jeans Fortex or something like that. It's an outlet in France. So the report goes on to say that all clubs would prefer a loan deal with an option to buy. Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta is reportedly open to the idea of offloading the winger, with the Spanish boss no longer counting on him. Right. So that's the story, guys. That is the story at the moment. Nicola Pepe, he could leave Arsenal. Right? Nicola Pepe could be one of those players that are set to leave Arsenal. And now 3 clubs, courtesy of him not getting game time, 3 clubs are interested. Crystal Palace, Everton, and the third club we saw was what? And Newcastle. Obviously, I've reported about him at Newcastle, right? So, look, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Nicola Pepe. Why I'm going to disregard this story is the fact that they want him in January makes no sense still, right? Makes no sense. I doubt, look, of course, the loan option, with an option to buy is a very, very good deal for Arsenal. One, if they take him, they're probably going to pay half of his wages, or if it's Newcastle, all his wages. And look, which club doesn't want that? I mean, if I'm Arsenal, I'll take the deal. Definitely, I'll take the deal. Pay all his wages and have him until the end of the season. If you're impressed, you can take him. Just the same thing that happens always. With so many clubs. But Pepe, we've spoken about Pepe before, so I don't want to be to seem like I don't want it to seem like a regurgitation. We've spoken about Nicola Pepe, and we have said that most of the time players fail to work out. For me, with Nicola Pepe, it's the same thing. It's the same scenario. He's not different from it's not so different from that. One player that we thought would work out, one player that all of us wanted him to work out, but it just failed. It just failed to work out. And I think if he goes away from Arsenal, I don't see him going to a high-profile club, unless apart from Newcastle, because Newcastle are one of the biggest and richest clubs in the world at the moment after their takeover. So the highest he can go for me is Newcastle, right? So where should he go? Let's assess the options. 1, Newcastle. They're gonna give him the game time. They have a new manager, and they're looking to survive relegation. And I say that they will try to scratch the surface as deep as they can, to get anything. And look, anything, right? That that saves them from relegation. The first thing they got is Eddie Howe, decent manager. Yes, he can do the job. Decent manager. So they will now try to look for new players. Would you let go of Nicola Pepe? Would I let go of Nicola Pepe in January if there is an obligation to buy? An option to buy means they could buy him, they could return him. But if it is an obligation to buy, I ship him out. I'm telling you, I'm shipping him out. I'm shipping him out. I do ship him out if it's an obligation to buy. But just an option, and with all this fiasco of squad depth that we are lacking, look, I don't know if Arsenal can do this. Get Pepe out and bring in a replacement on loan, because it's easy. Get Pepe out on loan and bring in a player like Kulusevski on loan. That actually works out, right? But if it is Pepe going, and of course Martinelli is also there, but of course Martinelli is another fan of is another big fan of injuries. You count on him. 5 games. He has 5 good games, 5 good appearances. He gets to the sick bay, and he's nursing injuries. So we need every bit of our squad depth, right? And that is the scare. We need. Look, we're looking at top 4 as the highest target. We're looking at top 5 as the gift, and we're looking at top 6 as the realistic target. But top 6 this year means you have to beat Manchester United, you have to beat West Ham and Leicester City. That is top 6, right? That is the rest to top 6. I think Everton. I mean, I don't want to count Everton out, but they've been so disappointing over the past few years. They've been so disappointing. They start well and then they just go boom. I mean, lost off the radar, right? So I might not count out Everton, but I think it's Everton, Arsenal, West Ham, Leicester, and Manchester United. Those are the 5 clubs that we have. Those are the 4 clubs. If you exclude Arsenal, those are the 4 clubs we have to beat to get top 6, right? We have to finish above them. And all those squads, one thing they have in common is they have average. They have an average age of at least 25. That means they've got experience in the squads, but they have also got the quality, right, that we do not have. Look, West Ham, you might argue, but they have a manager who's been in the Premier League for some time. I think he managed his 1,000th game. That is Moyes, right? So they have a manager that really is it Moyes that managed his 1,000 games. I mean, I really don't want to be misleading, but I think it is Moyes. I think he's made 1,000 games. So I'm right. So they have a manager who has over 1,000 appearances as a manager on a touchline in the Premier League. Look, some of them were under Manchester United, where he really crumbled under pressure. And the project really crumbled. We could say Sir Alexander Chapman Ferguson. That's one of the wrong decisions he has ever made for Manchester United. But West Ham have the quality. If you look into their squad, they have a Mikel Antonio up top, unless he gets injured. They have a Thomas Susek somewhere. They have a Jerome Bowen somewhere. They have Ben Rama somewhere. They're a decent squad, and their goalkeeper Lucas Fabianski is not one of the worst. They have Katsuma. They have the likes of Cresswell. Their squad is decent enough to go back to the Europa League. Decent enough to go back. So as we fight for Europa League, you think about West Ham. Everton, the same. They have signed Gray for a bargain. He's done so well. I mean, Gray is less than 10 million. Can you imagine? He's done so well. They have Townsend, who's also doing very, very well. Calvert-Lewin, we all know what it means for the side. He can't stop scoring for them. They have Alan, and that pair between Alan and Abdoulaye Doucouré, if they can keep both of them fit, it's a nice pair. The likes of Yeremina, they have England's number 1 in goal in Jordan Pickford. They also look good. So look, guys. Then Leicester, they have the quality, they have a good manager. I don't know why they're actually crumbling. but they have they have the quality, and I feel like they have a good manager. The bottom point is we will need every game, we will need every player in that 25-man squad. We will need every player in that 25-man squad. And, truth be told, I wouldn't let go of Pepe in January. No. Even if it's bringing in someone else, we do not know how this player is going to settle in. What if we let go of Pepe and then we bring in someone like Denis Suarez, who actually was nothing, like literally nothing? So that is the scare as well. But for me, Pepe in the summer, sell him off. Like I said, unless it is an obligation to buy, right? Because an obligation to buy gives us the opportunity to handle cash in the summer. It's like straight cash, right? It's like a straight jackpot. I'll take it, but I don't see really Arsenal let go of Pepe in the summer, and then in January, and then Newcastle can pay the money that we want out of him. Crystal Palace can't. Honestly, I think it's only Everton and Newcastle that can pay the money we want for Nicola Pepe. Crystal Palace, look, I don't want to be, I don't want to disregard them, but I don't feel like they're gonna have that kind of budget, to run, right? And with already having Wilfred Zaha at the team, Rick, I just don't see, I just don't see them going for Nicola Pepe, unless I'm wrong. Again, because I could be wrong, unless I'm wrong. I don't see how Nicola Pepe goes to Crystal Palace. It's either Newcastle, and no Newcastle will try to push for him in January, and then Everton, if they want him genuinely, it's going to be in the summer. I think for Pepe, it's a good deal if he goes to Newcastle. It's a good deal if he goes to Everton. Everton are gonna give him the game time, and they're also a decent club. I think Newcastle, if they do not get relegated, they are going to turn into a decent squad after the January and summer transfer windows. They're going to turn into decent squad. So I feel like Pepe has nothing to lose, unless it's like Jesse Lingard, who says, I want to start Manchester United, whether I'm playing or not. But for me, for a sensible player, despite the fact that he doesn't have to go out in is not going to be playing in the World Cup because they apparently didn't qualify. For me, for a decent player, 26 years, the wise decision for Nicola Pepe, leave Arsenal and find a better place. That's it. Leave Arsenal, find a better place to play football. It doesn't hurt, really. 48 likes. Thanks, everybody. Two more likes to 50. I'm absolutely very, very happy if we get that done. 2 more likes to 50. Very, very happy. Right. My man Godfrey says, let Pepe go. Alex says, who's gonna replace Pepe if he goes? At the moment, I don't know. At the moment, I don't know really, because it is more like it's more like a Roma mail. And then Adama says, Sterling. I'll talk about Sterling, but maybe if Pepe goes, we bring in Sterling. That's a good thing, right? That's a good deal. Pepe goes, we bring in Raheem Sterling. Yeah, that's a good deal. That is a very, very good deal. Frank says, hi, Cossy. Sorry for the question. May you tell us a little bit about Dusan Vlahovic? No, don't be sorry with the question. It's a story that we have that I've run for 14 days. So I'll be very, very glad to answer that. Dusan Vlahovic. But let me get back to that. Festa says, I think Pepe has to go because sometimes he's selfish, really. On the ball. And then Dixon says, if Nicola Pepe leaves, there is no regret because he failed us, right? Right. So that is those are your opinions around Nicola Pepe. So Frank says, what is happening with Dusan Vlahovic? Look, rumors have actually, I'm gonna say, they've dried up, linking us to Dusan, and the latest reports I've seen are linking Dusan Vlahovic to Dortmund. Right? To Dortmund. But look, Fiorentina want to sell. They have not changed their stance. They have not changed their position. They want to sell the player, and that's it. That's final. They would love to sell. The only question now we have to ask ourselves is, will Arsenal go for the player? Is it the kind of player we want? For me, yes. Yeah. Right? But are we serious about him? Romano says we are just following the situation. right? At the moment, there is no club that has actually, put in a bid. No Dortmund, not Liverpool, not which other club has been linked? Arsenal and AC Milan. No club has actually put in an official bid. So Fiorentina are also still waiting, but they're willing to sell. If Arsenal want to get the player, go get him. As simple as that. His contract runs down in 2023, so probably he doesn't want to sign a new deal. That's what we know at the moment. But Arsenal, look, the rumors are a little bit dry now. I've not heard anything from Di Marzio supporting his stance. Ever since Fabrizio came out, all the other journalists that have been, rumor mongering around Dusan Vlahovic have actually kept quiet. And then Fred says, let Pepe go. He will improve just. He says, let Pepe leave. He will improve. Just needs game time. Michael says, Cossy, please take Sterling. It's okay to replace Nicola Pepe. He's a massive upgrade. I mean, if there is a word like massive upgrade, he's a massive upgrade. Sterling would be very, very, very big, massive upgrade. So, speaking about Raheem Sterling, by the way, unless Peter says Nicolas Pepe is the biggest flop in our team, sell him and go for Wilfred Zaha. He is too floppy at Arsenal. I wouldn't go for Zaha. Right? I think Zaha was good because we wanted him at Crystal Palace when they were still in the Championship. He joined Manchester United. Then he failed at Manchester United, went back to Crystal Palace, did well there for like 2 seasons, and then we wanted him again under Unai Emery, and he's failed. 3 years later, how old is Wilfred Zaha? Let's look. Let's look. Because for me, I'll check him if he's below 27 years, right? Wilfred Zaha. I'll check him if he's below 27 years, but I don't think he is below 27 years. How old is he? Let's look at he's 29. He's 29, born in 1992. He's 29. Look, again, one player that has a lot of energy in his legs. One player that makes you feel like football is a nice game to watch, right? Better than cricket, better than any other game in the world. Wilfred Zaha. When he's playing, his performances for Crystal Palace have been, he's the Grealish for Palace. His performances are absolutely top notch. OTT when it comes to Crystal Palace. But he's 29. He's 29. I mean, the swap deal that we wanted to make because 3 years ago, he was 26, right? And Unai Emery wanted him. Arsenal failed to get the deal done. 3 years later, when it's, if you do not want to give Lacazette 3 years, why would you sign Zaha? Are you gonna give him 1 year or 2 years? No, it's always gonna be 3 years. No, I wouldn't really take Zaha. I would go for a player like Karim Adeyemi, right? I would go for Adeyemi. I wouldn't really go for Wilfred Zaha. But again, another player that we've always admired and never got. That's it. So, guys, Raheem Sterling. Now, the fancy story around Raheem Sterling is that he would prefer to join Arsenal. Apparently, he would prefer to join Arsenal rather than Barcelona. Have you heard of that story? Have you seen that story? It's crazy, isn't it? Very, very crazy. How can you say that he would love to join he would rather join Arsenal rather than Barcelona? But anyway, that's the story. That he would be the story is that he would be interested in joining Arsenal if there was an opportunity. Of course, the fact that he's English, maybe he's afraid of going out in the other leagues. He doesn't know actually how it's gonna work out. Right? He's 26. He enjoys the Premier League, and the Premier League, of course, is the place to be. It's the best. Look, it's been branded as the best league in the world, and no offense, but it's one of the best places to be as a player. It's one of the best places to be. Whether he would love to play for Arsenal over Barcelona, I don't trust that. I mean, anyone could put that out because they are very, very passionate Arsenal fans. But if he wants to stay in the Premier League, if Raheem Sterling wants to stay in the Premier League, I'll definitely understand. Yeah, I'll definitely do understand his decision. Right. So the rumors continue to link him with Arsenal. I feel like it is it's a merry-go-round. It will finally get off, right? It will finally get off by Adam Bell. So lastly, I want to speak to you about Mikel Arteta. Now, there is a story that has been put out by the Athletic. The Arsenal's plan, and whatever we are saying, was actually to take advantage of a distressed market, a distressed transfer market. So what they mean by a distressed transfer market was, you see, most of the clubs were hit by the pandemic, including Arsenal. But some clubs were hit by the pandemic harder than others, right? Because we need to look at Rafinha. At least this according to Valeri. You're right. You're right, Russo. You're right, Russo. Very entertaining, player. Same as Anthony. I think we've been linked with both of them. I've not done the stories. Quite ashamingly, I don't know why. But we shall have a chat about them, Rafinha and Anthony. So look, guys, the story is that Arsenal are still trying to take advantage of clubs that are still in distress. Of course, we know that now fans are back in the stadiums and clubs are actually are trying to find their ground back. But our plan was to get players at cheaper fees. I don't know if we got our players at cheaper fees. Ben White, that was not cheap. Odegaard, okay, maybe Odegaard for his value, valuation, that was okay. But Ramsdale not cheap. But the plan was get these players from clubs that are actually distressed. Madrid, distressed. We wanted our. We know how Lyon were actually distressed. Lille. Still, they almost sold many of their players. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, it's a good strategy if we can keep it going, right? Because I feel like it's gonna take some time for club economies to go back to normal, right? It's gonna take some time for club economies to go back to normal. So if we can get a striker from a distressed club, I mean, by the way, it's a very, very good strategy. Very, very good strategy. But the Athletic are actually saying that, Arteta being back and everything like that was in plan. And Arsenal had the plan to take advantage of clubs whose finances were actually hit by the pandemic so hard. Whether that's going to continue, I still wait to see. And finally, I wanted to speak about a player called Karim Adeyemi. I don't know why Arsenal have not gone for a player called Karim Adeyemi. I've seen Dortmund linked with him. I've seen Barcelona linked with him, and Liverpool. Adeyemi is another wonder kid. One that, because we are looking at forwards, and that's why I placed Adeyemi in this video, right? Because we've talked about Pepe, Lacazette, Sterling. I just feel like Adeyemi is another player that deserves a chance. Not really a chance, because if you look at the profile of clubs that are actually interested, Bayern is also there, by the way. I just feel like Arsenal need to challenge for these young talents, right? Because they're the project we're fighting for. Adeyemi now playing at Salzburg, he's another interesting player, just like Dominic Szoboszlai. Because again, he's playing at the same team as Szoboszlai, the same thing as the same as Patton Daka, the same as Erling Haaland. I feel like we should go for these players. Karim Adeyemi there, his valuation around 30 to 40 million pounds. Barcelona being reported to be struggling to find the price, to meet the price tag. Liverpool, of course, not very, very heated. It's a chance for us to go, just steal Adeyemi from there and and add him to our young project. I think it would work, right? I think it would actually really, really, really work for us. But anyway, I don't know why our scouts have not mentioned Adeyemi. There's so many young players out there, but I'll take Adeyemi. One player that I've really, really, really looked at, after his rumors sprung up, and I was really impressed was Adeyemi. But anyway, guys, that is much of the talk around the club. I do want to do a preview, but I think the grand preview is going to drop tomorrow, because tomorrow 9 a.m. UK time is when Mikel Arteta is going to be doing his press conference. And in the grand preview, we have to include the press conference. So it's not going to drop Thursday. I wanted it to drop Thursday. I don't know what I should do. I'm considering doing his press conference reaction as a separate video, because look, we don't want to wait for so long. It's a Saturday late kickoff. I would want to start my previews today, but I'm gonna see what I can do. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We've smashed the like button, and I'm really grateful. Frank Mahesa says replace Pepe with Christopher Nkuku. We've spoken about Nkuku as well before, right? We've spoken about Nkuku as well before, and I've already said with Nkuku that he's entertaining. Look, he's very entertaining. He's one of those players that have actually, hit the ground running in the German Bundesliga. I would take him all day long, all night long. I'll take Nkuku. Yeah, I'll take Nkuku. So, guys, that is the update around the club. Thanks everybody for joining me for this evening session. I'll speak to you at 9 p.m. when I provide the full report of how the full fitness report about our players and exactly what is happening in the squad as we prepare for Liverpool. Smash a like on the video. Let's get 10 more likes in. Let's get them to 60 as we log off, and I'll speak to you very soon.